Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Mountain Valley Farm. Welcome back to the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. This is episode number 8. And if memory serves me correctly, I think I might have vaguely mentioned something about my virtual kids, my virtual children. I had hoped that I could sort of coax them into maybe keeping the egg collection going, all this kind of stuff. And well, all they pretty much are interested in these days, kids these days is they're just interested in basically playing video games and um, all this kind of stuff. One of my kids came home with something that they called a fidget spinner. Gosh, I'd never heard of such nonsense. And thankfully, it broke after couple of days or it got lost or something. I don't know. They were kind of whining about it, and I said, "Well, I tell you what, if you want a fidget spinner, I've got something that's called a weed eater, and we've got plenty of weeds and plenty of stuff out and about that you can you can go out and spin it around and help with some of the work here on the farm." They didn't much appreciate that. They did come home with a new video game the other day. I think they downloaded it online and talking about a farm sim. And I'm like, well, I can give you a simulated farm any chance you want to take. And I know I sort of told that joke a long time ago here on the channel. And my apologies for telling it again. I sort of made fun of that, but in any event, we've got a lot to do still. We're still in the same game day that we've been in the last two episodes, episode um, 6 and 7. So this is the same game day in which we have essentially planted a wheat crop, planted a barley crop, and did a little bit of fertilization as well. So um, I kicked our time up to 5x time just because I think that this is probably all the seeding that we're going to probably do in this game day. And for this episode, I don't really know how long it's going to be. I'm kind of contemplating, well, basically what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the store. And first of all, we're going to stop off at the cafe here, and we're going to sell these eggs that we've got in our pocket. And get that done. So we basically sell our eggs here at the diner, and we've got a pretty good situation where they'll buy our eggs for us, and it just helps the local community. I'd much rather sell. No, we can't. Do we not sell our eggs here? Okay, I was under the understand. Oh, there we go. Well, we had to just come around to the right place. So $125 in eggs. That's not bad. And I'd much rather see our eggs and everything come here locally and get used in a diner that we know will use them up fresh, and the community will benefit from it. Plus, they make a heck of a breakfast there. So we're going to go over here to the store. I suppose we could have just gone to the store and walked across the street because it's not that busy around here. Um, but hey ho, you know. So we're going to come over here. Now we've been told that they have found a buyer for our Scorpion King, and so but they're not ready to do the transaction just yet. But what we want to do is we want to basically talk to them about the mower situation, because don't know if we will actually mow today in this game day. I don't think we will. As a matter of fact, I think this is probably going to be the last episode that is recorded today. It's already around lunchtime, and maybe by the time that we finish a few chores around the farm, it'll be time to basically say goodbye to this day. But I think what we want to do is we want to go ahead and get our mowers. Um, Normally I would use these guys here because of the working width. I don't really think that we need necessarily 9 meters. So we're going to go with the Pottinger with these two, the NovaCat 301 ED and the NovaCat X8 ED. and we're going to go ahead and pick these up, and they're going to deliver them to us, just because they're really good about that, and why not? And so the other thing that we want to probably go ahead and get is get a tedder, because we're going to need to essentially tether this. Some of this is hay, and obviously most of it's going to, or some of it's going to be grass. So 8.7, we don't need 13. I don't even think we really need 12 and a half. 6 is possibly a bit small. So I think we'll go with the coon, because obviously I don't think we've used the coon pack, or the coon tedder from the coon pack. So we'll go ahead and get that. And again, they'll deliver that for us. And then I think while we're here spending money and doing a deal with them, is we will go ahead and get our rake as well, because, well, our windrow, why not? This one is just way too small, and this one is way too expensive to sort of fit what we're kind of trying to achieve here. So we're going to go with this one here at 9.3 meters, and we will select that and get that as well. So they'll deliver all of this for us up to the hill, and we've still got some good money there. So I think that will be just fine. So let's go ahead and head on back up the hill. And I think on the way back, we're going to stop and take a look at a couple of grass areas that we've kind of had our eyeballs on. Now, to my knowledge, I cannot figure out how we get into any of this area here on the left side, but obviously this stuff here on the right, we have the opportunity to mow this. Basically, all we have to do is we've got an agreement with the city, with the community, is as long as we mow it and we leave it more or less in the state of which we found it, obviously taking the grass out, baling it and everything, we are okay to go ahead and do this. So this is a nice wide open field here. So I basically have looked for fields that we didn't have to do a lot of tree cutting in, because clearly we want to be responsible. We want to be a responsible citizen to our community, and that means that, if we take out some trees, that we want to try to put a few trees back. And we are going to do that. We are going to put some trees in. But again, I can't figure out how you get into the area here to the left. It looks as if it's all fenced, and I have not found a gate. And of course, I haven't really looked hard for a gate, I will admit to that. Meaning that this is probably the first time that I've actually consciously sort of driven along saying, okay, where's the gate? Where's the gate? So I do not know. I will maybe defer the question to Mr. Mark DuPont, who inspired me to play this map, because I saw him playing it and I thought, oh my gosh, that looks like a heck of a lot of fun. And so I sort of got the idea to do things a little different, obviously do things sort of the grizzly bear way. We all have our unique way of interpreting how we want to play the game. And of course, you all, the viewers, get to come along with us. But yeah, no gates whatsoever. So let's just kind of let's get out. I mean, I'm assuming that we can jump the fence and we can get over here, but I just don't know. I mean, I sort of do know a way to get over there, and I don't even know if we can we bust reality. And yep, there's collisions on the fence. Okay, well, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, because again, here's another area. Well, this has got quite a bit of trees in it. Let's see if this opens up to this other area right here. It may not be so many trees. Yeah, there's not very many trees out there, so we will most likely mow that. But yeah, no gates, no gates at all. So Mark, did you? I need to finish watching your videos. Here's another big area right here to the right that we can get into. So long story short is we've got an abundance of free grass areas, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't bother in establishing a field for grass. Now normally, you guys know me, I like to have a grass meadow. I like to have a hay meadow that's sort of predefined, that's going to be what we're going to mow grass on for both grass purposes, hay purposes, silage if that's what we go, unless we make corn silage. I've done that with Pine Cove. I've done that with well, I didn't necessarily do it with Lawfolds because it sort of had a predefined grass meadow. But anyway, you guys know that that's sort of my thing. That's what I like because it sort of reminds me of growing up as a teenager, in Texas, there where we had fields, and that's all that we did with those fields was um, cut it for hay purposes. So that's what I'm trying to say. But um, in any event, we don't need to do that here on this map because we've got a nice supply of grass, as you've just seen, and so we will cut that grass. But here's the deal. We should be able to get, I would think that we should be able to get 2 cuttings of grass from um, um, 2 cuttings of grass this season before winter. Um, Maybe even 3, but I think that I want to wait until at least the next game day. So basically, what would be the last day of mid-spring, perhaps, and kind of look and see where the grass is, where things are regarding the height of said grass and everything. Because if we cut it now, we're not going to get the same amount of yield that we would expect to get if we waited just a little bit. Well, I don't think we have to wait long. I mean, again, I think maybe tomorrow we could do that, and I think that would work out fine for us. So we're just kind of, this episode is just kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and maybe a little bit of nothing. You might be thinking to yourself, and my apologies if you sort of think that this is kind of a boring episode. Um, we've done some things that I needed to do, that I needed to get done here. Obviously, we needed to get that equipment, and of course, I suppose I could have done that off camera, and hopefully you're not going to be too mad that I didn't. I've been, I've wanted to kind of keep you all a part of the process a little bit more in this series than what I might normally do. I know that I do a lot of stuff in other series. I've done a lot of stuff off camera, and so with this series, I've wanted to kind of do things where you guys could kind of see how we've gotten to this point. Now, I didn't necessarily do that with the logging, just simply because, I think that you all would have got really probably pretty sick and tired, or tired and sick, or maybe just tired of watching me log. But because like I said, I do sort of have 2 left hands, 2 right arms, and um, not very talented in with respect to the logging stuff. Although the joystick does make it a lot easier, but I'm not going to lie to you. I did take advantage of the auto loading functions to get a lot of that stuff cleared out, just because I needed to try to keep a schedule, and obviously work has just been crazy weird, and everything that's been going on with that. So um, but now that that's done, we're concentrating on farming, and as I said, we need to get some grass mowed and get some hay going, get some grass in the fermenting. So we'll be picking up that the Corona baler. I think I mentioned in episode 7 we're going to go with that, it's a bit of overkill, especially if you look at the price of, well, let's just do that. Let's just bring up the store right quick because, well, we've got a mobile tablet here in our tractor because we're just cool like that. But if we go to, what do we need to do? We need to go to baling technology. If we look at, a round baler is $58,000. If we look at the square baler, it's $102,000. 145,000. So really and truthfully, if we were to spend our money at 58,000, yeah, I mean, we could get what could we get? We could get that uh, the round bell wrapper, um, but that's $54,000. So that, what is that? 50. So that's 100. That's 100 and something there. So I just really like this, and I'm hoping, yeah, 125 horsepower. So we've got the tractor. I think this tractor is, what is this tractor at? While we're just looking at stuff here, this tractor is at 280. So that was one of the reasons why I got a little bit larger tractor than maybe what I had originally thought of. I will tell you that when I was sort of thinking about this series and starting the role play and everything, I was really thinking about using that smaller John Deere because I kind of thought that that's what a granddad would have probably had, a John Deere tractor. And of course, probably wouldn't have had that John Deere tractor. He would have had probably one of the Puppin Johns, one of the older models that I absolutely love. But the horsepower was really not strong enough, and so I kind of thought, well, I'm going to do my twist. I haven't really used a Massey in a series yet. I have done John Deere, and so we'll get back to John Deere stuff at another series soon. So I'm just going to pop in the store here and talk to them about some seeds, and I'll be right back with you. All right, well, I'm back at you there. We got them to load up the seed bags. Had to wait just a little bit for them to bring a forklift around and everything. And so they did tell me that they're going to be getting that equipment up the hill up to our farm here shortly. It will be delivered today before 5 o'clock. So they'll get that done. They've been very, very good. Now we haven't used their delivery service too much. We've been trying to go down and get the stuff as we've needed it, but obviously, when you pay good hard money for things, and especially the way that we do it, we pay cash. There's good favors that are all associated with that kind of transaction, and so we're going to take advantage of it, and that will save us some time and just a little bit of effort as well. And so that's all going to be good. So we're going to go ahead and take this up the hill. I estimate that we needed about two more big bags of seed, so that should get us done with our remaining two fields. And I think we're going to do canola, and I think we talked about maybe soybeans, trying to stick with something that we wouldn't need to buy a second header for the combine. And I have yet to decide on the combine. I'm looking at some options, talking to the dealership and everything, and looking at what makes the most sense and everything. So we'll figure all that out before the fall harvest. We still have several months before we have to necessarily worry about that. And but that's okay. And I think what we'll do, just to kind of wrap things up, is I'm going to make this episode 30 minutes um, whether we like it or not, because I don't want to waste your time or my time. So we're gonna do something else here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our skidder on down because, well, why not? We don't need it anymore, and that is also something that we can sell and get pretty good money for. I thought, I know there's a lot of different ways that you can go about doing this. That you can go about making decisions as far as money goes. And of course, the leasing option is certainly makes a lot of sense in some, in some respects. But also in the leasing option there, is a sort of a cost associated that you're never going to see back. You're never going to get that back. And so the cool thing about buying stuff outright is if you take care of it, and we have taken very good care of our equipment, the skidder, it's all worked hard for us. We've basically used it as hard as we needed to, but at the same time, we have taken care of it, and we're going to obviously make repair, and we've made repairs to everything, so everything is in as good a shape as it's possibly could be. And I think this will fit on this trailer. May look kind of silly going down the road, or maybe it doesn't fit on this trailer. Maybe let's see. It's not going to fit on this trailer. Okay, well I can't. I guess maybe we had it delivered. I can't remember if I hauled this thing up here or not, but maybe I didn't, because it certainly doesn't sound like we did. So we will just sort of scrap that idea, and we will go over and get our wheel loader, because I do know that we can get that on there, because obviously we brought that up here. I think we did that in a video actually, and we'll get the engine fired up here. But anyway, I think for us, buying it outright, because again, we didn't want to feel rushed. We didn't want to feel like that we needed to rush through something to get it done, just for the sake of trying to avoid a rent payment or a lease payment. And at the same time, when I first started this project, I wasn't really sure just how much we were going to do, as far as were we going to, we'll set our parking brake, were we going to clear cut many fields? Were we going to do more work down below, or we were going to just stick to the upper level? And so I think after we've cut down 300, we don't need this course anymore. After we've cut down 300 trees, I think we kind of realized that, well, that was kind of enough. That's all we really need. And so, the buying outright option worked out well for us. Now, if you are in sort of a situation and you need something, and you know that, okay, I'm only going to need this particular item for a day, a half day, and that's all I'm going to need it for, that's all I'm going to want it for, and I don't want to have to be bothered with it and everything, then the leasing option could be a good option for you. But again, for us, because I really didn't know if it was going to take a game day, if it was going to take 3 game days, I really didn't know. I really didn't know how long it would take, and so I sort of thought that it made a lot of sense to go ahead and buy the stuff outright, and that's what we did. And I'm pleased with that decision. I think it's worked out well, and I think in the long run. And of course, I don't remember how much we've paid for this stuff. Of course, I could look it up, and that would be easy enough to do. But I think in the long run, we're going to recoup some of our money, most of our money back, in doing it this way, repairing the vehicles and everything after we've used them, and reselling them through the dealership. And of course, they're going to want a small percentage, and they're obviously due that percentage. And we'll gladly give them that. But I think that this has been in our best interest to do it this way, because we've got $373,000. I have no idea how much we're going to get from the pieces of equipment that we're going to sell, because obviously we're going to be selling the semi, the lowboy trailer, we're going to be selling the wheel loader, grab. We're going to be selling the skidder. We'll have to have somebody come get that in a bigger trailer. And then we're obviously going to be selling the log trailer, as well as the stump grinder, and the Scorpion King. So we're going to be selling all those things. I bet we're going to make clearly enough to probably buy the combine just from that alone. So that is worked out really well, I think, for us. So we're going to go ahead and park here, and we will go ahead and let our ramp down and get off and unload this, and we'll park it over there. They have asked us to basically park and leave everything over here. So it's all together, and they've got a buyer for the Scorpion King, and the buyer is also interested in the wheel loader as well, but he wants to see everything together. So hopefully he'll just buy everything lock, stock, and two smoking barrels. All right, good stuff. Just like that. All right. Well, I actually think that we can probably leave the semi down here because I don't think that there's anything else that we really need to do with the semi. And so I think what we will do is if we can stay in the truck, we'll just move this guy out of the way over here. And who knows, they may want to use it to bring the stuff down for us. That's obviously their prerogative. We'll just drive it over here and park it over here up against the wall, and we'll call and see if we can get the missus to come down and pick us up, and maybe we'll treat her to a late lunch over here at the diner. And with that said, I'm going to wrap things up a little bit early, a couple of minutes early, and just say thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate you hanging in there. You know, it's a pleasure to bring you these videos, and it's even more of a pleasure to bring them to you in a G-rated format. And let me just tell you something. I watch a lot of farm sim videos, and I've got to say, I've got to take my hat off to all of my friends that do farm sim videos. Guys like Eustace Farmer, Doughboy2913, Farmer Klein, Reefy 1952. These guys that run good, clean, honest channels. They work their tail ends off to make sure that they're responsible users of mods, and I cannot credit them enough for what they do and how they run their channels. And equally so, ever since I've sort of been bitten by the flight sim bug again, I've been watching some flight sim channels, both on Twitch as well as on YouTube. And I am looking forward to bringing more flight sim content to this channel because I'm finding that the majority of the stuff that I'm seeing on both YouTube and Twitch is a bunch of foul-mouthed, um, just ego kind of people. And I'm not going to mention names because that's not who I am. I don't call people out like that. But I'm looking forward to bringing that genre, that game, that title, that aspect of the hobby to my channel in a little bit more higher capacity and everything, simply because I think that people will benefit from seeing good, clean, honest, educational, without swearing, without abuse and all this kind of stuff. Very much like I have been doing with my farm sim content since about September, October of last year. Don't know how many videos I've made, doesn't really matter. This is just one day at a time, one video at a time. But I just appreciate all of you who have recognized the fact that this channel has stuck to its G-rated stuff. And maybe my content is sometimes boring. I sometimes think that there are days that maybe I should have never sat down in my chair and put on my headset and clicked record on OBS, because I felt that I'm a bit a bit off, a bit tired feeling or sounding or whatever. But you guys continue to watch my videos, and I'm so appreciative of that. I really, really, truly am. You'll never know, maybe the truth behind this, but I tell you, I was raised from the concept of, a man is all about his word and all that kind of stuff, and I know that's not how you say that, but that's really, that's I don't say things that I don't mean, and so I genuinely am appreciative of that. Because I know that I've heard from several of you who have basically thanked me for running a G-rated stream because you want to allow your children, your grandchildren, or you yourselves just don't want to hear the abuse and the kind of language and stuff. And I don't, I'm not, trust me, I work in IT. Things can become hectic, and there are times that, I probably let things slip at work, even though I try not to speak that way. But um, this is completely different, and I don't. I often turn off the videos that I'm watching about farm sim or flight sim if it's just the talking like sailors and everything. So anyway, I'm not trying to come off as holier than thou, by by any stretch of the imagination, but I am appreciative of you watching my channel. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for watching Mountain Valley Farm episode number 8. I'm going to wrap things up and just say thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your friendship. God bless you all. And enjoy. We're getting very close to the first or the end of June, the 1st of July. So enjoy the remaining days of June that you have. Hope you all have good plans for the Independence Day holiday weekend. Of course, I will talk to you before then, but hope your plans and everything are coming together for you like you want them to. And I appreciate you watching my videos. Thank you for your friendship. God bless you all. Take care, and bye-bye.